Okay, to update you, we've been in line since 7 a.m. and as of 30 minutes ago, it's a long line.
And here's the other side.
And this is just one of 5 doors. There are a lot of people who are excited to see this talk. It's a little bit packed at the moment.
Guys, if we don't back up, we can't let nobody else in. Just back up a little bit.
Okay. It was a tight squeeze, but we made it in. It should be pretty fun.
In a few minutes, we're going to begin the presentation, and I want to go over a few housekeeping guidelines that will ensure this session proceeds smoothly for everyone. First of all, obviously, we are delighted for everyone to take as many photos. Just go over the format for how the presentation. There will be time for questions from the audience. There will be 2.
Where's Elon?
Please join me in welcoming Elon Musk.
Thank you very much for having me. Look forward to talking about the SpaceX Mars architecture, and what I really want to try to achieve here is to make Mars seem possible, make it seem as though it's something that we can do in our lifetimes, and that you can go. And is there really a way that anyone could go if they wanted to? I think that's really the important thing. So, I mean, first of all, why go anywhere, right? I think there are really 2 fundamental paths. History is going to bifurcate along 2 directions. One path is we stay on Earth forever, and then there will be some eventual extinction event. I don't have an immediate doomsday prophecy, but eventually history suggests there will be some doomsday event. The alternative is to become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species, which I hope you would agree that is the right way to go. Yes?
Yeah!
That's what we want. Yeah. I have nothing against going to the moon, but I think it's challenging to create become multi-planetary on the moon because it's much smaller than a planet. It doesn't have any atmosphere. It's not as resource rich as Mars. It's got a 28-day day, whereas the Mars day is 24.5 hours. And in general, Mars is far better suited to ultimately scale up to be a self-sustaining civilization. So just to give some comparison between the 2 planets, Mars to be roughly equivalent to a median house price in the US, which is around $200,000. Then I think the probability of establishing a self-sustaining civilization is very high. I think it would almost certainly occur. Not everyone would want to go. In fact, I think a relatively small number of people from Earth would want to go, but enough would want to go and who could afford the trip that it would happen. So this is not, it's not just, well, this is what it might look like. This is what we plan to try to make it look like. So in the video, you got a sense for what the system architecture looks like. The rocket booster and the spaceship take off, loads the spaceship into orbit. The rocket booster then comes back. It comes back quite quickly, within about 20 minutes. And so it can actually launch the tanker version of the spacecraft, which is essentially the same as the spaceship, but filling up the unpressurized and pressurized cargo areas with propellant tanks. So they look almost identical. So this also helps lower the development cost. And the funny thing is, I think in the long term, ships will be even bigger than this. I think that this will be relatively small compared to the Mars interplanetary ships of the future. But it kind of needs to be about this size, because if in order to fit 100 people thereabouts in the pressurized section, plus carry the luggage and all of the unpressurized cargo, to build propellant plants and build everything from iron foundries to pizza joints, to you name it. If you have 100 people per ship, that's 10,000 trips. So I think at least 100 people per trip is the right order of magnitude, and I think we actually may end up expanding the crew section and ultimately taking more like 200 or more people per flight in order to reduce the cost per person. So, but it's sort of between 20 to 50 total Mars rendezvous. So it's probably somewhere between maybe 40 to 100 years to achieve a fully self-sustaining civilization on Mars. Rise and then use gaseous methane and oxygen for the control thrusters. Sort of current and historic. You can actually read that, but in expandable mode, the vehicle course that we're proposing would do about 550 tons and about 300 tons in reusable mode. That compares to Saturn's 5 max capability of 135 tons. But I think this really gives a better sense of things. The white bars show the performance of the vehicle, like in other words, the payload to orbit of the vehicle. So you can see essentially what it represents is what's the size efficiency of the vehicle. And most rockets, including ours, not the best at this sort of thing. Just to show you where we started off. In 2002, SpaceX basically consisted of carpet and a mariachi band. That was it. That's all of SpaceX. And we're going to try to send something to Mars on every Mars rendezvous from here on out. So Dragon 2, which is a propulsive lander, we plan to send to Mars in a couple of years, and then do probably another Dragon mission in 2020. In fact, we want to establish a steady cadence that there's always a flight leaving, like a train leaving the station. With every Mars rendezvous, we will be sending a Dragon, at least a Dragon to Mars, and ultimately the big spaceship. So there are people that are interested in putting payloads on Dragon. You can count on a ship that's going to transport something on the order of at least 2 or 3 tons of useful payload to the surface of Mars. We have a pretty good handle on, and this was the trickiest one, so we wanted to tackle it first. You get a size for how big the tank is. It's really quite big. Also, big congratulations to the team that worked on that. They also were working 7 days a week to try to get this done in advance of the IAC. So we managed to build the first tank, and the initial tests with cryogenic propellant actually look quite positive. We have not seen any leaks or major issues. Doing geothermal energy, and ultimately, I think assuming the public is receptive, there might be. All right, next question. It's super exciting, even if it's dangerous. That's really who we're appealing to here. But I think anything that anyone here could do in that direction would be great. Getting people excited about going, getting the public behind this. And the truth is, like right now on Earth, you can basically go anywhere in 24 hours. I mean, anywhere. You can fly over the Antarctic pole and parachute out 24 hours from now if you want. From the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I think probably we'll name the first ship that goes to Mars Heart of Gold, and I like the fact that it's driven by infinite improbability. I think our ship is also extremely improbable. So, so I like the infinite probability drive. The acronym is not the best. You know.
Okay, so safe to say that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I still can't quite get it through my head that that was an actual presentation about actual humans actually colonizing Mars. Best case scenario within 10 years. And all of the booths on the expo floor just seem super boring after that. So, satellites? People have been making satellites for a long time. Are you colonizing Mars? What are you doing with your space company?